Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So in this video we'll be talking about URL params. So what are URL params? So to understand it, we're gonna use this website dummy.json. It's gonna get us fake data. So let's look at this example. So we're using fetch API, and in this we have https dummyjson.com/products. Now if I write this URL up to /products, it's gonna return 100 products. So these are the resources. It provides fake products, cart, users, posts, comments, codes, and much more. So what we're going to do is, instead of fetching 100 products, we're going to have a specific products with a specific ID. So here you can see that I have written, this URL, you can see that there's one written, and it's going to return a product with the ID, which is 1. Here you can see that. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use React router in our React tab to implement this. How can we do that? Let's get to the code. So here we are on the product details page, and in there what I'm going to do is I'm going to use useparams hook. Okay, and let me just write const params is equals to use params. Let me just remove everything else. So you can see we have a use params hook. It's going to return params, which is an object. Now let's see what it is returning. Console.log params. Let's go to our site, and here we are. So we are on product/1. Let's go to inspect console. I'm just gonna clear this whole thing. I'm gonna reload. So you can see that it's returning an object with a property ID and a value 1. So what useparam does is it's going to return an object, and it's going to have a property with a property same as what you have with your colon here in your dynamic route. So anything that goes with colon, it's going to be a property in the return object by useparams, and we can use that to fetch a specific details of the data that we want. For example, here, if I'm saying in the dynamic routes that /product/1, I'm requesting a product with an ID 1. So we can just, act accordingly and use this params object to fetch the product with ID 1. Now let's jump back to our dummy.json website. So what we have to do is we have to copy this code. Okay, we have to copy this code, and we have to just change this part only. How can we do that? Let's go back to our code, and I'm gonna use effect. As we all know that we have to use effect, and it's really a good practice to use effect when we are fetching any API. So here it's going to be a callback function and an empty dependency array, because I just wanted to run only once when our app is mounted. And in that I'm going to paste the code that I copied from the dummy.json website, and here I want this to be variable, so I'm going to use string interpolation. What happens in string interpolation is that, first of all, let me show you. So I'm gonna use backticks. Okay, and instead of one I'm gonna write $id, sorry, params dot id. So what is happening here? So it's gonna fetch an API, but we have added a variable here. We don't know which URL is being rendered. Suppose I write /product/2, then it's gonna automatically place 2 here instead of 1. So making it more dynamic. This fetch API is being made more dynamic. Now for handling our data, we're gonna use state. So I'm gonna write const data set data is equals to use state. So initially I want this to be an empty object, and when I receive the JSON, so first of all let's see what this JSON is. Okay, so if I write products, okay, so there's this, let me just import use state, and let's save it. Okay, so we are on products 1 and you can see that it is giving us the, here you can see that it is giving us the product with id 1, title, description, and many more things. Okay, right, so let's see how we can use that. So first of all, I'm gonna place all that data inside this. Okay, we have to just make minor change here. I'm gonna say set data, inside I'm gonna write JSON. In the product details, let's make some changes. I'm gonna say h1, and in h1 I'm gonna say data dot title. Let's have one more thing. We're gonna have image, and source will be data dot thumbnail. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, so it looks something like this. Let me just close this. So it is looking something like this. So you can play around with all the properties that this data provides, and that is how we use the URL parameters to get the specific data that we want. And it also helps us to, it helps us reducing uh, the repetitive work that we have to do. Suppose you have different products and you don't have to create multiple pages for those different products. You just have to create a template for one product, and the data will be fetched, and that data will be placed according to the URL parameters. If it is 1, the data of the product with id 1 will be placed within your template. And that is how it really helps developers in creating multiple pages with similar templates. And here's the live example of that. So you don't have to go around and making multiple pages for iPhone 9, iPhone 10. So that is how you use URL parameter. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.